It's funny how often the smallest things in our daily rituals can make the biggest difference. We pour our coffee, we stir our soup, but for tea lovers, there's this kind of unsung hero that often gets overlooked, yet it's absolutely essential. Today, we're embarking on a deep dive into that very tool, the humble yet incredibly impactful tea strainer.
Yeah, exactly. And our mission today is really to uncover its true significance. This isn't just about, a piece of kitchenware. It's about understanding how something so seemingly simple has evolved through history, the surprising variety of forms it takes, the materials that define its function, and how choosing the right one can genuinely transform your tea drinking experience. We're going beyond just catching loose leaves. We're refining a cherished ritual.
Okay, let's unpack this then. A tea strainer seems like such a natural part of brewing now.
Yeah.
But where did the idea for it even come from? Was it always around?
That's a great question, because the story of the tea strainer actually begins without one. When tea first emerged in China, it was often prepared by grinding the leaves into a really fine powder. Think of it like maybe early matcha. You'd whisk that powder directly into hot water, so there weren't really any leaves to strain out.
Oh, right. So no need for a strainer at all in those early days. But then obviously something changed. When did this shift happen? When did people start using whole leaves, creating the need for this device?
Exactly. As tea preparation evolved to favor whole or larger leaf varieties, the need became pretty undeniable. I mean, imagine trying to sip your tea and getting a mouthful of leaves. Not great. So a practical solution was needed. And here's where it gets really interesting. Because the strainer's journey truly took off when tea spread beyond its origins.
Ah, okay. Here's where it gets really interesting. As tea found its way to Europe, was it the 17th, 18th centuries? It wasn't just about taste then. It was about status and ceremony too, right?
Yeah.
These aren't just utilitarian objects anymore.
Precisely. In Europe, tea strainers became much more refined, even sort of decorative pieces. We're talking intricate designs, often crafted from silver, reflecting the elegance and sophistication of the tea rituals of the time. They were statements of luxury, really, a symbol of genteel living. It wasn't just practical, it was a beautiful accompaniment to this whole developing social ritual.
Wow. So from a simple necessity to a silver statement piece. That's quite a journey. And it really highlights how a functional item can become so much more. Okay, so today we have an incredible variety of styles, right? Each designed to meet different brewing needs. Let's maybe talk about some of the most popular, starting with the classic mesh ball tea strainer. Everyone's seen these, yeah. Small, spherical, usually got a chain.
Oh, yeah. They're ubiquitous for a reason. They're easy to use, widely available, affordable, perfect for a single cup. But here's a crucial point for the real tea enthusiast. Their limited capacity can sometimes be a drawback. It's not just about space. It's about giving those leaves the freedom to fully unfurl and release their complex aromatics and flavors. Think of it like maybe a cramped dance floor versus an open ballroom. The dance of the tea leaves is just far more vibrant with room to move.
That's a great analogy.
Sure.
Okay, so if the mesh ball is the small, intimate dance floor, what happens when you want a grander performance from your leaves, especially if you're making a whole pot of tea?
Right. That's where basket tea strainers come in.
Yeah.
These are larger, often kind of cylindrical mesh containers designed to sit inside a teapot or even a larger mug. They address that capacity issue head on. They give ample space for your tea leaves to really expand and infuse properly. They're excellent for larger quantities and generally pretty easy to clean. The main consideration is just making sure they fit your specific teapot or mug, as they are a bit bulkier.
Okay, now shifting gears to something even more compact, we have the infuser spoon. These are like a hybrid, aren't they? A spoon-shaped strainer with a hinged handle. You scoop your leaves, close it up, and dunk it. What's the appeal there?
Convenience is definitely key with infuser spoons. They're undeniably easy to use, super handy for quick single servings, and incredibly compact. You can toss one in your desk drawer or a small travel kit pretty easily. Again, though, you face that same capacity limitation as the mesh ball. It could restrict the full expansion of larger leaf teas, but for a quick personal cup, they're hard to beat, really.
And what about for people who appreciate a bit of a whimsy and color? There are silicone tea strainers. These come in just endless fun shapes, animals, little submarines, whatever. And they're so flexible. What's their main draw? And are there any downsides we should know about?
Well, their flexibility and heat resistance make them very user-friendly, definitely. And the array of designs is certainly appealing. Plus, they're generally easy to clean. However, some users report that silicone can, over time, subtly retain odors, which might be a concern if you're very particular about pure tea flavors. And while they're durable, they might not offer the same kind of longevity as high-quality metal.
Okay. And then you've got the more traditional over-the-cup strainers. These just rest on the rim of your cup, and you pour your pre-brewed tea through them. They almost feel like a bit of a throwback, don't they?
They do, yeah. And they're wonderfully versatile because they work with literally any cup or mug. Simple. They allow for easy, graceful pouring, and cleanup is typically a breeze. The trade-off, I suppose, is that they're a separate step. You're not brewing in the strainer, but rather using it as a final filter for tea brewed in a pot. So it really depends on your preferred brewing method.
Right. And finally, for the true tea enthusiast on the move, we have travel tea strainers. These are often integrated directly into a travel mug. What makes them a good choice for someone who needs their tea fix on the go?
Oh, for sheer convenience, they're hard to beat. Being integrated means less fuss, usually. They're typically spill-proof and highly multifunctional. You can brew and drink right from the same vessel. The main con is similar to the smaller strainers, that limited capacity for leaf expansion, and sometimes the integrated design can make them a bit trickier to clean thoroughly when you're, out and about.
Okay, so we've explored the diverse forms these strainers take. But what's equally fascinating, and maybe even more impactful on durability and taste, is what they're actually made of.
Absolutely. What's fascinating here is how the material of a tea strainer can significantly impact its durability, its ease of use, and even, the overall tea drinking experience. Let's look at the titans of the material world, maybe. Stainless steel, for instance, is the real workhorse. It's incredibly durable, rust-resistant, and generally a breeze to clean. Crucially, it won't retain odors or flavors from one brew to the next, which is, vital for a purist. It can feel a bit heavier, which might not be ideal if you're counting every gram for travel, maybe. But for home use, it's a champion.
Yeah, makes sense. And we touched on silicone earlier for its fun shapes.
Yeah.
Beyond that, what are its practical material advantages and its key drawback again?
Right. As a material, silicone is flexible, wonderfully heat-resistant, and lightweight. Super easy to clean, often dishwasher safe. And it offers that fantastic array of colors and designs for, aesthetic appeal. The primary downside remains that potential to subtly absorb and retain strong tea aromas over time, which can faintly impact subsequent brews if you're not cleaning it meticulously.
Okay. Then there's bamboo, which really connects us back to the origins of tea, doesn't it? It brings a traditional, eco-friendly touch. You often see it in Japanese tea ceremonies. What are its unique characteristics?
Bamboo offers this really lovely, natural, biodegradable option. It adds an authentic, kind of calming feel to the brewing ritual. It's perfect for those seeking a more traditional, minimalist approach, perhaps. However, it does require a bit more care. It can be difficult to clean thoroughly. And you have to be mindful of moisture to prevent mold. Plus, it's simply not as durable as metal in the long run. Needs a gentler touch.
Right. And finally, a material we see everywhere, plastic. It's lightweight, often found in travel strainers or more budget-friendly options. Yeah. What should we know about plastic strainers?
Well, plastic's biggest advantages are its affordability and its lightness. That makes it very portable. You'll find it in a huge range of colors and designs. However, it's generally less durable and less heat-resistant than other materials. And, much like silicone, maybe even more so, it has a higher tendency to absorb odors and flavors. That could potentially compromise the purity of your tea over time. For serious tea connoisseurs, it's generally not the preferred choice.
Okay, wow. So what does this all mean for you, the listener? You've heard about all these different types of materials. Mm-hmm. How do you actually pick the perfect one? The one that enhances your personal tea journey?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? And it really comes down to a few core considerations that tailor the choice to your unique habits. First, definitely consider the type of tea you drink most often. If you're a fan of large leaf teas, like, say, oolongs or certain white teas, they really need room to unfurl completely to release their full flavor profile. For these, a basket strainer is probably your best friend. But if you primarily drink finely cut teas, like many green teas or even some broken leaf black teas, then a mesh ball or an infuser spoon might actually work perfectly well.
Right. And once you've thought about the tea itself, the next logical step is capacity. Like, are you usually brewing just for yourself, that single mindful cup, or are you making a whole pot for the family or, a long work day?
Exactly. For single servings, those mesh balls or infuser spoons are perfectly sufficient, usually. But for larger quantities, you'll really appreciate the generosity of a basket strainer or maybe an over-the-cup strainer. Also, you need to evaluate ease of use based on your routine. How do you make tea? If you like to brew directly in your mug, an infuser spoon or basket strainer that fits your cup perfectly is super convenient if you prefer to brew in a teapot and then pour. An over-the-cup strainer offers that wonderful, clean pouring experience.
And let's not forget longevity. You want something that's going to be a reliable companion for years, hopefully. So check for durability.
Yeah.
Looking for materials like stainless steel or high-quality food-grade silicone will probably ensure your strainer stands the test of time better.
And finally, this is where that personal connection comes in. Consider aesthetics. A tea strainer isn't just a tool, it's part of a ritual, isn't it? Choose one that reflects your personal style, that brings you a little bit of joy, and that enhances your whole tea setup. It's not just about looking pretty. A beautiful strainer kind of invites a moment of mindfulness. It transforms the utilitarian act of brewing into a mini ritual, maybe connecting you more deeply to the centuries of tea tradition.
That's a lovely way to put it. Okay, so you found your perfect match. How do you keep it perfect?
Yes, care and maintenance. If we connect this to the bigger picture, proper care ensures your strainer stays in good condition and keeps, providing that great tea experience. For stainless steel strainers, it's actually quite straightforward. Rinse them with warm water immediately after use. That's key. If there's any stubborn residue, a mild detergent and a soft brush will do the trick. And crucially, always dry them thoroughly. That prevents rusting and keeps them sparkling.
Okay. And for those charming silicone strainers, pretty similar routine.
Pretty similar, yes. Rinse with warm water right away, use a mild detergent and a soft brush. Just be sure to meticulously check those fun shapes and crevices for any trapped leaves and get them out. Then dry thoroughly before storing. Avoids any lingering moisture or, like we mentioned, potential odors building up.
Got it. Now, bamboo strainers. You call them the divas.
Yeah.
They need special attention, right?
Yeah, they do. They need a little special care. Rinse them with warm water immediately after use, for sure. But, and this is absolutely crucial, avoid using soap. Seriously. Soap can absorb into the bamboo and subtly affect the flavor of your future brews, which, well, we definitely don't want. Just let it air dry completely before storing it away. That prevents mold. Patience is key here.
Okay, no soap on bamboo. Good tip. And for the common plastic strainers?
Simple again. Rinse with warm water immediately. Use a mild detergent and a soft brush. Just be careful to avoid using abrasive cleaners. Those could scratch the surface and potentially create tiny nooks for residue to hide in. And, like all the others, dry thoroughly before storing. It's really just about respecting the material, whatever it is.
Great advice. And if you're feeling inspired now to maybe upgrade or expand your tea strainer collection, there are some fantastic brands out there, right? Consistently delivering quality and innovation. Like Finum, for example. They're pretty well known for high-quality stainless steel and even some clever plastic tea strainers. They seem like a solid go-to for practical, durable options for everyday brewing.
Definitely. Then there's For Life. That's a brand that I think truly understands the intersection of design and function. They offer a great range of stainless steel basket strainers and infusers that are not only effective, but also beautifully designed. They just make your brewing experience feel a bit more special, visually appealing.
And for those who really prioritize efficiency and durability above all else, OXO Brew is sort of a household name for kitchen gadgets, isn't it? For good reason.
Yeah.
Their stainless steel tea infuser baskets, especially the ones with fine mesh, are kind of legendary for their ability to catch even the smallest tea particles. Ensures a really clear brew every time.
Yeah, they're very effective. And if you're looking for variety and accessibility, maybe Adagio Teas is worth a look. They provide a really wide array of tea strainers. You'll find everything from those classic mesh balls to the playful silicone designs. They offer both affordability and diversity, so you can probably find something to suit any preference or budget.
Okay. And finally, if you're seeking a piece that truly elevates the aesthetic, makes it feel a bit more luxurious, Tea Forte comes to mind. They're known for their really elegant and innovative tea infusers and strainers. They often integrate form and function in ways that feel quite high-end and definitely enhance the whole experience.
Absolutely. So, wow, we've really delved into the world of tea strainers today, haven't we? From their humble, practical beginnings back in ancient China, evolving into these symbols of European elegance, to the vast array of modern designs and materials and the precise care each requires. It's clear they are far more than just a simple accessory. They are, without a doubt, an essential tool for any real tea enthusiast.
What a journey it's been, for something so seemingly simple, a tea strainer, just a little vessel for leaves. But it embodies this fascinating blend of history, ingenious design, and practical function. It's a powerful reminder, I think, of how paying attention to even the smallest details can profoundly enhance a daily ritual. and maybe deepen our connection to a global culture too. So the next time you steep a cup, maybe take a moment. Consider how this small act of choosing and caring for your strainer transforms the mundane into the mindful. Perhaps it even inspires you to explore a new tea or a totally new way of brewing it.